Thank you so much for such a very great question that you've asked in terms of what is the plan for us from here after the march and the change that we've noted. One which we need to acknowledge all stakeholders who collaborated to ensure that this becomes a success. We wouldn't do it alone. We wouldn't do it alone. But because of their involvement from mobilization, from department, from pillar to post, we need to ensure we acknowledge that, because we tend to run away from that, and which is a very critical start of things, where everyone is involved from the start of things. And then secondly, to appreciate the plan that the local aids council have, which we call it the local aids activity plan, where all organizations or stakeholders that are implementing in the municipality, because remember, local aids council is where all stakeholders come together and then they report, either through resources, whatever, but they need to report on the great work that they are doing. Either there are challenges or not, but they need to report. Now they are reporting to the political head, which is the local mayor of that particular area. So as the chair of that sitting, then that's where all stakeholders are coming in. So the plan.
So this activity plan is based on the strategic plan?
I would say partially so, but however, it is running away from duplication of activities. Because we end up competing as organizations instead of complementing each other. So I'm having a dialogue, and then organization C is having, or B is having a dialogue. Same approach, but different corners in one municipality. But if we bring all these resources to one space, bring all our cohorts in one room, discuss these issues, then the number becomes bigger, the reach becomes bigger, and the impact becomes bigger. So that's the intention. So we need to acknowledge that. But however, there's been also a gap which is very critical, where the departments, or let me say the government departments, are getting involved. Now we're talking of cases that are reported. We need NPA to be part, justice must be part, and all those things, so that when the political head or the chair of the local aids council is sitting there, gets all this information. Now when we also report back to the community, they are able to now understand better the systems that are utilized. Remember, we spoke about where a police officer now gets the arrest through the perpetrator, and then from there the community thinks that that person should be the person who's giving a charge, which is not. So all those systems must be entailed so that the community is aware. And I think my third, we need to document these great initiatives and strategies and plans and all that, so that whoever comes after the other can build from that one going forward. So our best practices, our great successes, and our challenges as well, they must be documented so that we learn from them. Remember, there have been campaigns, there have been programs that have been implemented before, but the change and the impact that we're seeing now is different. So we need to learn from there to say, if this has worked for us, how do we package that?
How do we make sure that it actually works going forward?
Exactly. So we need to move into that dimension, so that when we are bringing all these aspects, we are bringing all these, inputs, strategies and efforts, then it's not just into a play, but it's for an impact and also for progress in terms of service delivery.
Thank you very much. I think this really has been a very insightful discussion, very informative, but I think it's a great example of a good practice, where one is able to see different milestones being played along, until you get to where you have your mass action. But also your mass action is not just the mass action, it actually yields good results into this. I really appreciate this discussion, because I think there's a lot of learning that I'm taking away with me, and also how you linked the local aids council being the central accountability mechanism, to be able to say that everybody needs to come and account to that. Everybody needs to take responsibility of what they are doing. And now, if we do that, then we'll be able to see, where the resources are going. There's been a talk of where's the AIDS money? What happened to the AIDS money? People get money, but we don't see any change in what is happening. And then we start suspecting each other in terms of what is happening. So really appreciate it. And I think a very important one is where there's evidence. Even going forward, our lessons are based on the evidence that we've got. Yes, and thanks so much to Kanisa Matalendabeni and your collaborators, the people that we collaborated with, and the fact that it was collective effort then really made a difference in this community. And I'm hoping that 2025, when we go into all these conferences, we've got the AIDS conference coming, we've got CASA coming, we've got other conferences, we've got the PASA conference coming. There's a whole lot of platforms that we can be able to share these good practices. But I think for me, what is going to be important is access to justice. That journey of access to justice for everyone now will begin to come in, and also the communities will be part and parcel of this. And I guess in the next discussion, we'll be looking at how we ensure that community dialogues on these issues of human rights violations